You are listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, presented by Richard A. Boxshall, in which I chronicle my life and attempts to become a professional writer by, doing some writing daily. Hopefully. Hello, it's Sunday the 8th of September 2024. You're listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer. Obviously I haven't done any writing since yesterday because I'm going to work today. I've got quite a late night, so in fact I got up quite recently and I'm leaving for work soon, so I'm not going to be doing any writing today. But I thought, and I'm going to Atlanta, Georgia today, which is, it's work. So I'm going to do some more Richard Herring emergency questions from his Richard Herring's Leicester Square Theatre podcast app. I don't know if it's still available, but I bought it ages ago. So I am going to press a button and see what random question it gives me. What's the most surprising thing or person that has ever leapt out at you? I don't think anybody's leapt out. I'm sure they have, but no, I can't answer that question. It's a silly random question. Oh dear. If everyone else in the world left in a spaceship and left you behind, so everything belonged to you, where would you live? What paintings would you have on your wall? Would you be lonely? Where would be the most ostentatious place you would masturbate? Yeah, I'm not going to answer all of that question. I think I would, I don't know, because I think there's something nice about being surrounded by your own things. So I don't know if I would want to live in somebody else's house. What paintings? I mean, if I could get hold of any painting, this is reminding me of a little bit of a TV show called The Last Man on Earth, or The Last Man in the World. And I'm sure he just goes and steals a Da Vinci and has it up on his wall, but ends up spilling ketchup or crap on it. Would I be lonely? Of course, if I was the only person on the planet, I'd be lonely. God, it's yeah, so what a silly thing to say. So yeah, and I'm not going to answer the final question because I'm going to pretend I don't know what ostentatious means. Okay, what is the most embarrassing injury you've ever had? I've never had an embarrassing injury, so that's easy. What child's toy or accessory do you wish they did in adult size? I don't know, because silly things like one of those ball pits, adults can go in them anyway, or bouncy castles. These questions are rubbish today. I'll keep going. Do you think anyone ever said to Jesus, God shouldn't play man? I don't know. What a stupid question. These are a bit rubbish today. Marmite, do you love it or hate it, or don't you mind it, or have you never tried it? In which case, should we go and buy some now so we can try it? Okay, got some now, taste it. Do you love it or hate it, or are you ambivalent, or somewhere on a sliding scale between those points? If so, quantify that as a sliding scale where hate is 0% and love is 100%. Thanks. Yeah, that's the whole question. I'm not anti-Marmite. I don't eat it very often. I would say if 0 is hate it and 100 is love it, I'm probably somewhere in the 60s. I occasionally fancy it, but I don't love it. I very rarely buy it because it's very expensive for something I don't have very often. These are great, aren't they? When you're watching films, how much time do you end up Googling the actors to find out if they're still alive? Not very often to find out if they're still alive, but certainly to find out what they've done before or since, or what I recognise them from. I've got a fairly good, I think most of us are like this, really. I was thinking about this the other day in relation to my non-binary character, and how I'm still struggling not to think of the character using she pronouns. The background is they were in originally the character was meant to be a trans woman, but I discovered I could easily use she pronouns to describe them. It wasn't a challenge, so I made them non-binary instead, to use they them pronouns. And I wish there was a binary, if you'll pardon the pun, switch in your head where you could just go, that's the pronouns I need to use for that person, in the same way that we have this binary switch in our head if someone's died. So it's kind of like, oh, they're dead now, and you immediately relegate them mentally to a different file, to those that are deceased. It's very unusual for me to forget someone's died, because it is literally like the brain files them in a different way once that's happened. So yeah, if I know an actor's died, I never think, oh, are they still alive? It's possible that I've missed that they've died, but probably not. But we shall see. If it's someone famous, then it would have been all over the news. And even though I don't watch the news every day, I would certainly see it on social media or on the internet or whatever. That's not such a rubbish question, Richard. Thank you. Would you rather have your brain put in back to front or have your hands and feet swapped round? Because I can arrange to have either done, and so will do so as soon as you have answered. Put your brain in back to front. Well, surely it would, presumably if the connections were still there, it would still work even if it was back to front. Whereas trying to walk with my feet and walk on hands attached to my feet. No, would I do that? You'd have to walk using your arms and operate heavy machinery with your legs. I think I would rather have my brain put in back to front as long as they leave everything connected so I can still see and think. I suppose what would be weird is that things on the left-hand side of the brain would now go to the right and vice versa, like, ears. But the brain's very good adapting to that. They did an experiment where somebody put like a visor on, which basically meant they saw everything upside down. So they were looking into a mirror, so everything they could see was upside down. And sooner or later, the brain realised that and I don't know if it took days or weeks, but they realised that the information was wrong and flipped it. So this person was looking at what should have been an upside down image through this weird mask with a mirror in it. But now the brain realised it was wrong, so it flipped it the right way around. So when they took the mask off, everything was upside down again, although I believe that the brain did actually flip it the right way around again eventually. So I think if the brain was in back to front, it would take a few days to normalise and work out what the information was supposed to be, and then I think it would be normal, whereas hand-feet swap would be a bloody nightmare forever. That's me done. Next time you hear from me, I should be in Atlanta. Thank you for listening. Take care. Bye-bye. You have been listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, presented by Richard A. Boxall. Thank you for tuning in to my random ramblings, and if you'd like to know more about me or my projects, visit my link tree at linktr.ee/Richard Wright, capital R, capital W. Thank you for listening.